Problem 3 looks like this. The square root of x plus 3 plus 2 equals 9. We want to find the solution to that equation. I'm also going to be working out problem number 4, which is 4 times the square root of x minus 8 equals 36. Notice on problem 4, as well as problem 3, that one of the options is no solution. So we have to be careful with that. So we're either going to use our calculator or we're going to use Desmos to make sure that the answers that we find are legitimate answers, but we need to be aware that we can have extraneous solutions. So as I pull off my iPad here, scoop my notebook paper down, what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to isolate the square root. Isolate the radical is sometimes what I say, but we want to get that square root, but it could be a different root, by the way. 9 minus 2 is 7. We want to get the root, the square root in this case, by itself. And then once we do, we want to undo that value, undo the square root. So we're going to undo it by squaring. That's the inverse operation. And if we square the left side, we need to square the right side. So we end up with x plus 3 equals 49. And then we could subtract 3 from both sides. So we get x equals 46. So now that we know that, I'm going to pull up Desmos here. And when we pull up Desmos, what we're typing in, again, is we're going to put the 46 in there. So the square root, let's see, here's the square root button, which you can't see because I just had it at the bottom, but it's the very bottom here. Square root of 46. My screen won't show the whole thing. Square root, and then we're going to put 46 in for x. So it's 46 plus 3. And then arrow out of that, you want to get out from underneath, plus 2. And we want the answer to equal 9 because that's what's on the other side of the equation. And it does. So when we go back here, our answer is 46. Just a reminder, here's what problem 4 looks like. 4 times the square root of x minus 8 equals 36. So I'm going to move that. I have it written down on my paper. And we need to isolate. So in this particular case, we'll start by adding 8 to both sides. We get 4 times the square root of x equals 44. 36 plus 8. When we isolate the square root, notice that we don't quite have it isolated because it's 4 times the square root of x. So we need to divide both sides by 4. So we've got the square root of x equals 11. And now we want to get rid of the square root. So we're going to use the inverse operation of squaring both sides. Square rooting and squaring cancel each other out, so we get x. 11 squared is 121. And now we're going to go over to Desmos, and we're going to check that in Desmos. So again, it's going to be 4, and then the square root is down here at the bottom, square root of 121, because that's the value we just found. 4 times the square root of 121, arrow out of that, minus 8. And we want that to equal 36 because that's what's on the other side of the equation. And sure enough, it does. So when we go back to this problem, 121 is our solution.